Sounds like there's a big difference from the first week of practice under Hugh Freeze versus what a year ago looked like.
Freezing temperatures are likely for several hours inland and a few hours closer to the coast.
Yes.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. And joining us now here on the show, Auburn defensive lineman Jayson Jones. It's got to be weird. 1 week, you guys are, all right, football's back, you're in the groove, and then, spring break hits. And so you got to step away for a week. But how's that first week been under the first time practicing under Hugh Freeze?
Yeah, the first week went really well, I think, especially for the defensive line. I think every single one of us has stepped our game up and put our best foot forward going into this break. I think, like I said, we've all done a great job. We all bring something different to the table as well. So I'm really excited about this D-line.
How important is everybody bringing something different to the table? I mean, how important is that? We talked last time about rotation probably being a bigger factor up front this year than the last few seasons.
Yeah.
How big is that?
It's good because it's like the other team, you don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Like which one guy's good at the run, this guy's good at the pass. This guy's good at this one move. He always does this one move, but then you switch him over here, he does this. It's really important to be able to do that, have that mixture, so you're leaving the other team guessing.
Yeah. And I think that's some of what Ron Roberts does, right? Is he makes, the whole concept of creepers and having different alignments up front and, moving the jack around, moving you and Marcus around the different slots. You're making the opposing offensive line have to think a little bit more pre-snap, right? I mean, that's a big part of all of this.
Yeah. And again, like I said, that's very important, keeping the offense guessing. And then that also allows more plays for everybody up front to, keep making plays instead of just being one-dimensional. So I like Ron's scheme. I love it. And we've only got a few plays in, so it's just like I'm liking it right now. I wonder how like a few months down the line is going to be, you know what I mean? We start adding in everything.
Is it that much different than what you guys have been doing the last 2 seasons? I guess you can only talk about last year, but
I mean, football is all the same, just different wording, different terminology. I don't think defensive line has really changed that much. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think you can really do anything else to D-line. I mean, I think we've pretty much done everything. So it's just different terminology, different schemes. I mean, just whatever you play in, but what you rather have with 3-4, multiple, 4-3, multiple, just is all based on, who you're going against too.
The assumption is that you guys defensive line, and I guess really the whole front seven, like doing more things opposed to you just being like a shade nose or a zero tech. Are they moving you around at all? Or are you still kind of staying in that same area of the defensive front?
Well, we're moving everyone around. Everyone's playing different positions. And again, that's key, and that makes you more valuable as a player. So like one down, I'll be in the 0, the next down, I'll be in a 3, the next down, I'll be in a 2, the next down, I'll be back in the 3, then I'll be in a 1. Then if you need me, in my opinion, I can go to a 4R if you need me to. I can go back to a 0. And I guess it's very important to move people around, and that's what we've been doing.
Yeah, and Jayson, for folks just hearing you kind of saying all these things, so essentially the higher the number is, the farther to closer to the tackle you are. I think that's a simple way to put it, right?
That's kind of simple.
A very simple way.
Very
way
simple
to put it.
That's simple. Yeah.
Yeah. So I imagine, how much of that is just early spring and they're trying to see who can do all that, or do you think you'll be doing all that when the season comes?
I can't tell you right now.
Gotcha.
It's all like there's a lot of gray area. Again, we just had 1 week of really putting on pads, so we're really just Garrett especially is letting us just play and just letting us do what we do best. You know what I mean? Instead of keeping us one-dimensional. So I'm glad letting us really just play. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Looking at what Jeremy Garrett did at Liberty, I mean, his defensive line statistically was great
Was
at
one of
Liberty.
the best,
Yeah. How different is kind of going through drills under him versus, what you've done in the past?
A lot, again, it's all the same things, different sayings, different terminology, but it's all pretty much the same thing.
Okay.
I like what Garrett does. I like what he's about. Again, he lets you play really like free. He lets you go be you, go make plays. Like he always says, you're a football player, not a football player.
Ooh, I like that. You're a
Exactly.
football player, not a fitball player.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. So there's been a lot of talk, Jayson, about like the jack linebackers. How much different is that going to look to the Auburn fan watching this fall compared to like what we're used to seeing with that edge rusher type position?
I mean, it's essentially like what we had last year, which was called the Rover. It's
Rover.
the same thing. But our base defense is going to be like your traditional defensive end, like which is going to be a big guy. Nose guard, no D tackle, you're going to have that jack linebacker. So essentially, it's going to be the same thing. Again, it's all just different terminology, different sayings, and stuff like that.
Got it. When you look around the defensive front so far, and once again, it's early, but 1 week in, who are some of your teammates that have kind of impressed you and caught your eye? Say like, man, they did some work. They're taking that step forward that they needed to this offseason.
I say Jeffrey Emba because what I saw last fall camp last fall camp when he really got back into the groove to now, you see significant growth. He's more confident. And again, like I always say, he doesn't understand how strong he is at times. And I think you're going to see it this season. Like he's tearing off blocks, making plays. He's doing really good, and I'm happy for him, and I'm excited for him this season.
Is he lining up in different spots too, Jayson, just like everybody else?
He's playing the D end right now.
Okay.
Just D end, but again, we'll see. It's just
That's
only 3 practices, so
I mean, he's a pretty big D end, right?
He's very athletic too. He's fast. I mean, he's fast.
Yeah. I mean, is that a system thing where they want a bigger D end, or he's just a freak athlete and so he's able to do it?
He's a freak athlete. I think he can do it. I feel he can play all 3 positions. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. He's that big, that fast. He can play D and D tackle, nose guard if he needed to. If the team
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what Auburn fans thought they were getting when he committed, and they posted that video of him and Harsin hugging and getting hype and all that stuff. And so, and then halfway through the season, everybody's like, where is he? Where is this guy? And then he kind of turned it up towards the end of last year. It's good to see that he's getting a shot and making the most of it. We'll continue our conversation with Jayson in just a moment. Today's show brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Look, we're past the midway point of the NBA season. If you're not getting in on the action, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you need to head over to FanDuel.com/lockedon to check out the FanDuel Sportsbook. It is America's #1 sportsbook. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, super easy to use. And new customers right now get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. It's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. And look, we're all watching a lot of college basketball right now. Be sure to check it out at FanDuel.com/lockedon to learn more about the no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets. FanDuel.com/lockedon to learn more. Jayson Jones, Auburn defensive lineman, joining us on today's show. So a lot of talk about the offensive line. You go up against these guys every single day. You did it last year as well. What's standing out about them? I mean, I'm just telling you the short time that we were able to see in the viewing window, I guess last Monday, Avery Jones looked really, really impressive to me.
Yes. He has experience under his belt, and don't let East Carolina fool you. He's very strong. He knows what he's doing too.
Yeah.
He's a technician. You don't really see his base to get too narrow or even get too wide. Again, he knows what he's doing, and you can tell just by watching him. He's going to be really good.
Yeah. Is he kind of taking that natural leadership role that the center typically has on the offensive line? I mean, is he an outspoken dude, or does he just line up and hit you?
Well, as a center, you got to be somewhat vocal. You got to point Mike is. You got to do this, do that. But besides that, he's more of like your go play guy. Let me show you type person. You know what I mean?
Is there anybody on the offensive front that talks smack to you a lot?
not to me, but in general, yeah. Not to me.
Who's the biggest smack talker on the offensive line?
Yeah, people. I don't know. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say it.
I got you. Are you a big smack talker?
No, not at all.
Yeah, you're a lineup and play kind of guy too.
I'm just blind. Look, I don't. My point when I was younger is like, why talk smack when I just play and hit you?
Uh-huh.
It's just like, I don't talk smack though. I don't talk smack. That's not me. That's not. If I do, I'm mad. Like I'm angry.
Sure.
Your head, but I usually just line up, play, get back to the line of scrimmage, play again. That's just me. I've always been like.
I think it's great. But in regards to like the offensive line, do they seem better? I mean, it's a pretty much a brand new front than what we've seen in the past. I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about them.
Yeah. I think they're all a lot stronger. They're all faster. I feel like they're very confident in what they do, and you can see a difference. And like even every last one of them have their own thing to them. Like Dylan Wade is also a person that surprised me. Like when he hits you, and he's really good in pass protection too. I don't think I've seen him get beat in pass protection yet, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Like I said, he's really good. Dylan Wade's good. Gunner has done really, really good the last 3 practices as well. What's his name? Tate stepped it up too.
Tate playing guard now.
Yeah, Tate's playing guard now. He's playing guard. Avery's playing center. What's his name? Stutz is doing really good too. Getting back healthy, moving right. He's moving a whole lot faster, getting more athletic. So again, I'm excited for this O-line, and I'm glad that they're doing good.
Yeah, I think it's outstanding. So you get a week off after the first week of practice. What are you working on? This week? Or are you just kind of using it to recover and kind of focus on what's ahead?
Oh no, this spring break is the easiest way to get like to lose shape, you know. So I knew if I went on vacation, whatever happened. So I went back home, started training with my trainer, Coach L. He's in Birmingham. I've been training with him since 10th grade. So I was 16 years old. I just been training my butt off all week, just trying to stay fit.
That's great. Then in regards to kind of what you want to accomplish the rest of spring, what would you say that is?
I just want to get 1% better each day. I know that sounds cliche, but I'm just being honest. I want to get better, because if you're not getting better, then what are you doing at that point? You're not trying to find something that to get better at, then what are you doing? So I'm just trying to get a whole lot better, improve on what I did last year, focus on pass rush a whole lot more. So that's what I've been doing.
I've heard you say this, and I've seen a lot of players tweet it and talk about it on Instagram and stuff like that. Stacking days. Is that something that this coaching staff's kind of preaching to y'all, stacking days?
Yeah, like stacking days. So you have one good day, okay, cool, whatever. But then the next practice is bad. We can't have that drop off. Like if you're right here, you can't have that drop off. You can't be bouncing back. We want to keep stacking days to keep getting better. And always try and find new mess ups, I guess is what they say. Because when you have something new, then you got something to teach. If it was the same old stuff over and over again, then yeah.
Sure. How is Freeze during practice? Is he like primarily around the quarterbacks in the offense, or is he everywhere?
He's about everywhere. But obviously, he favors offense. He's an offensive minded guy. So yeah, he roots for everyone. But he's mainly around offense right now.
Are his practices noticeably different than the previous administration?
Oh, yes. Freeze goes fast.
So what does that mean in comparison to like what we were doing?
So I'm just going to say, like I said, when he goes fast, he goes fast. You don't got no time. Like say you're going against Freeze. You make a play, you ain't got no time to celebrate. Get back on the ball, you got to line up again because they're going fast. And I think I like going fast, honestly. I like how our practices are laid out too, because it's one form of conditioning, and you get to play. I mean, you get to play longer instead of, I'm not going to speak on that too much. You know what I mean?
I understand. Yeah, but I guess that makes sense. One, from a conditioning standpoint, and two, just from you get more reps. You get more reps in a day, and that's more chances to get better, like you were saying.
More people get in as well. You're also getting a lot of the freshmen in as well to play and in that tempo. So,
yeah. Any freshmen stepping up that you feel comfortable mentioning?
Like I said, Keldrick's doing good, getting healthy.
That dude physically does not look like a freshman.
No, not at all. He's huge.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Yeah. Wilkie's getting better. Wilkie Denard's getting better. Steven's getting better. A whole lot. Brenton Williams has been doing really good too.
Okay.
He stepped up a lot. He's going to be really good. So I think collectively all the freshman D linemen specifically has been doing really good. And again, I'm excited for them.
Sure. What about a guy like Kayin Lee? I've heard good things about him. I know it's a different position group. You may not get to see a whole lot of them, but I've heard nothing but good things about Kayin Lee.
Good things about him too. I've heard he's been doing really good these practices, and I heard he's doing an amazing job. Again, he doesn't look like your typical freshman. He's really fast, agile, and again, it seems like he's been in this thing for about 3 years. So, again, I'm excited for every single everybody. I'm excited to see what we can accomplish this year.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And then outside of just, the Auburn bubble, there's a lot of talk throughout SEC football about the proposed scheduling and all that. Do y'all care about that at all in the locker room? Or is it just
I haven't heard
the whole 9-3 model where you get each SEC team is probably going to get 3 protected rivalries and the rest are going to rotate more often? Do you guys have any opinion on that or pay attention to any of that? It doesn't sound like you are if you weren't aware of that.
I just want to play football. I don't really care.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind. Is the rotation more like Ohio State and then you get Penn State here and you get, I don't really know what it is.
No, it's more the theory behind it is every player would get to play everywhere in the SEC if they stayed around their entire career. So you play everybody home and away in a 4-year span.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I like that.
Okay, you would like that.
Yeah, I would like that. I mean, I haven't got to play Tennessee yet. I haven't got to play Vanderbilt. We get to play Vanderbilt this year. I ain't gotten to play Kentucky. I mean,
you won't get Florida.
Yeah,
during your time here,
Florida. I'm fine with that. I'm cool with that.
Okay. Yeah. So that's appealing. Getting to play everybody in the conference. You think that's a cool thing as a player?
That's cool. Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Cool. Well, Jayson, thank you for your time as always, buddy. Know you're busy. Know you're working out and all that. And hey, best of luck for the remainder of spring.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Great stuff with Jayson. I want to talk about this article that has Robby Ashford as the worst quarterback in the SEC. I'm not buying it. I'll tell you why on today's Locked On Auburn, coming up next. Today's show brought to you by Built Bar. If you're looking for a delicious treat but don't want all the calories, carbs, fat, Built Bar is the treat for you. Covered 100% in real, delicious, decadent chocolate. They've got all sorts of flavors. Head over to built.com to check them out and be sure to check out the macros. You won't believe it. They are so solid, so good for you, low in calories, high in protein. You get them and they're like, wow, these are actually good. They taste like an actual candy bar. And you read the label again, it's like, wow, it keeps me full. Healthy can be tasty. Also, you can head over to Walmart or Sam's Club. You can now find Built Bars in both of those places as well. Or, of course, heading over to built.com. There's an article that Athlon put out, specifically Steve Lassen of Athlon. He recently ranked Auburn in his spring SC Power Rankings, had Auburn as the worst team in the SEC West, which I get where you're coming from on all that. I don't think with how you explain it makes a ton of sense. So when you look at Auburn in the pecking order, what we think is going to be the SEC West, I think you have Alabama and LSU, and then I think everybody else is kind of in the middle. And when you look at Auburn versus the Mississippi schools, the fact that you have the Mississippi schools at Jordan-Hare Stadium, I just don't think that makes a ton of sense because I just don't think the Mississippi schools are going to win at Jordan-Hare Stadium in 2023. I'm just not buying it. And also Arkansas is just defensively, can they get it together? Questions about, KJ Jefferson, I'm a little surprised he stayed, if I'm being honest with you. So I'm just not buying all that. And of course, with whatever's happening at Texas A&M, are they going to figure all of that out? So I don't know if I'm necessarily buying that Auburn should be last in the SEC West. They certainly shouldn't be first. They probably shouldn't be third, but anywhere after that, I'm like, I just don't think that they're the worst team in the West. But then Lasan put out the quarterback preview and rankings article and has Robby Ashford as the worst quarterback in the SEC. And I just don't think that's correct. Now, there's a lot of quarterbacks in the SEC that I would put ahead of them, but just to put him behind Brady Cook at Missouri and A.J. Swan at Vanderbilt, I think is lazy, and I think it's disingenuous. Like, what are you basing that off of? I think both of those quarterbacks had better protection than Robby Ashford, and I just think if you watch football and you watch what happened in the SEC last year, I mean, Robby's situation that he was put in was so bad. It was so poor and so unfair to Robby and so unfair to Auburn and really kind of unfair to the starters around them just because none of them were put in situations to succeed. And look, I'm not going to act like the situation at Missouri, the situation at Vanderbilt makes a ton of sense and those guys were set up to succeed either. But Robby, I think he kind of made the most of it. And you can make the argument for Robby's upside way more than almost any quarterback in the conference. So I'm not buying that. And I think a lot of these quarterbacks that were ranked ahead of him, I think have better situations. And I just don't think that's how quarterback ranking should go. I think quarterback ranking should look at the quarterback, not the overall situation. And to me, I think that's a shame. And I think it's unfair to Robby. I understand you got to put somebody last, but Robby's better than Brady Cook and A.J. Swan. Get out of here with all of that. Thank you so much to Jayson Jones for joining the show. Be sure to give him some love if y'all don't mind. And we'll be back, I guess, throughout this weekend. And we'll recap Selection Sunday with a live show. So that should be a ton of fun. Follow me on social media at Zac Blackerby. Read all my written work at auburndaily.com. And got a cool announcement, a personal announcement that's coming up in the coming weeks. So be sure to stick around for all of that. Till next time, this has been Locked On Auburn.